just want to give a warning. This one is personal and I'm going to be sharing what our experience has been. I won't share more than I'm comfortable with, but also you may not be comfortable learning about some of this. So if you're curious and interested in this topic, then go ahead, keep watching, but it's just not going to be everybody's thing. Welcome to the Player Pocket. Here I just share what's going on in my pocket of the world and what it's like to be married and be stepping into a new journey of parenthood and maybe motherhood, and just how it feels to be starting out. You never really know what it's gonna be like. We are at a totally different place than where we were when we first got married, but it's still not that far away, and we're about to just start on a whole new journey, and it's gonna be interesting, just trying to capture it. So in 4 more years or longer, we'll get to see, oh yeah, that's what that was like. I'm just so glad we have a lot of videos from early on. It is simply to do that and hopefully to share some experience for those that are curious. Today on the Poyer Pocket, I am going to be sharing what it was like to start trying to have our first child. And it is not what I expected, and so I'm going to share some of those details and just how it feels to be at this stage in life when I have looked forward to this my whole life. It's definitely not a stage I really thought about. I just kind of thought about you get married and then you have a kid, and it is so different, and I'm only just a little bit into the journey. So yeah, what is it like to get started and decide that you're ready to have kids? Well, our journey to get here has been all over the place. We had a lot of conversations. It was not easy for us to mutually agree on this. We were both on different pages of when we wanted kids. We both wanted kids, so that was cool. We both had our sights on that. We didn't completely know how many kids or when, but we did agree, roughly. We had like an idea in mind of how we thought our family would come together, and we still have just some adjusted thoughts about how that will go. And so far it is such a different journey than I think we both expected, and hopefully I can have Chris on to share some of his experience with this. I think from the outside it looks so easy, and I remember just from the different times that people have shared that they know someone who's starting to try, or that there's a family that is ready to have kids, and so that is coming up. And I just imagine it, or I did imagine it being so exciting and like, whoa, can't believe they're making that decision. That's so cool they're at that place. How scary. I'm so glad I'm not there. I don't want all that responsibility. I had lots of thoughts in my singlehood and in my new marriage of just like, that's awesome, but I'm not there.
I definitely thought it was just super simple, that either it happens by surprise and they don't even have to think about it, or they're like, sure, whatever, and then they end up pregnant, or I knew the other extreme, of course.
That it went completely opposite of that and it just takes forever. I think I tried to balance my expectations as best I could, that it can take a while. It isn't something that can magically happen. It can, but I wanted to set my expectations up for just realistic, since it is just like a random miracle basically that can happen. And I have known just from avoiding pregnancy that it can just randomly happen when you're not wanting it to, possibly, but also that it can take so long when you actually are desiring it and wanting it. For us so far, it took a while to get to this place, and now that we are at this place, we're very eager to become parents, and it is scary. Like, I think knowing that we've made this decision and we are like transitioning into that, it's almost like this, I'm about to lose that, like kind of like grabbing hold of that more of like, oh my gosh, my freedom, not having to worry about anybody, doing whatever I want, all of our money goes towards our own, bills. I know that it would just change so much. And so I am kind of like, am I sure that I'm ready for this? Like, totally having all these different thoughts about what am I doing? What are we doing? Like, making this decision. But I have like longed for this, and my heart still aches that I don't have the kid. It's just such a mixture when there's that decision of things are changing. I would say too, something I didn't expect was how uneventful it is. So it is a super great time. There's a lot of perks to it, but it is also just like, all right, so we tried. Now we just wait. And there's a lot of waiting. With my PCOS, I have just irregular cycles, and I mean, they have been a lot better with different things that I learned to help manage it, but they're longer. They're not the typical 28 days. So every, 2 weeks you get to try, 2 weeks you get to do your pregnancy test, and then it starts over. Mine are longer, and so there is just so much waiting time, and I'm really trying to appreciate it and enjoy it while I can, but it's such a weird season. I don't think anyone expects it to just be awkward. Like, it's an awkward season that is easy to enjoy, but also only for so long. I think if we all just knew when we were gonna have kids and how the timing would work out, it would be a lot easier to sit back and enjoy the process. But like, there's no control over it. It's just, all right, we'll see if this time it worked. I remember just wondering, was there something we forgot to do? Is there something else we should be thinking of? Yeah, it's interesting how you wait. You just mostly do waiting. I think I pictured it being a lot more active. You know what I mean? I just remember like wondering, oh my gosh, aren't you just so excited? Like, can't wait for your baby to come. You just started trying, so it's like gonna happen at any point. And then when it happened for me that we were starting to try, I did not have those thoughts. I was definitely just like open to whenever it's gonna come, but also it's just gonna take a while. Like, that's been my mindset. And definitely from the outside, it just looks like, just bliss. But on the inside, it definitely, there's a lot to be like scared about and worried about. And it's like anything in life where it's so much easier to be on the outside looking in than to realize the reality of it. Because when I really wanted kids, I think I like fantasized that this was going to be just an escape, basically. And it's not. It is like life. You live it, and you have to learn to appreciate certain things and be grateful at every turn, because there's so much more, like, you get so much more in your head and stuck in anxiety, and mental health is a thing, and it's just different. It's just like right now, it's like, oh, when I have a baby, then things will be fixed. And obviously, we all know that babies don't solve marriage problems, and they don't solve me problems. It can't be an escape. I think by having, like, just by recognizing my own intentions going into this has been important, so I can actually enjoy what the season can give me. Because just if I go in with the mentality that it is going to help me escape, I'm gonna notice where it's not helping me and where it's not living up to some image that I had in my mind. I think just surrendering and letting go of what it looks like or what I thought it would look like, and just letting it be what it is, because there's beauty that I believe you can find in even the darkest situations, and you can create in all sorts of moments where it doesn't feel like there's joy or there are things to be grateful for. And that is what helps us get through really tough times is just knowing that there is going to be something to be grateful for, even if in that moment it doesn't feel like it. I guess, yeah, if you are just like wondering what the season is like, I can say, yeah, it's awesome, but it's not always awesome. There is reality to it. So I hope this is like glimpse into our life. I don't know. Just helps you feel connected to like a real human. I know even over a camera screen it's hard to feel like I'm real, because that's how I treat other people sometimes, even though I've noticed there's different YouTubers that are just really good at making it feel cozy, and that's why I have this totally wonderful, but I'm kind of a faker mug. I just have water in here because I didn't want anything hot to drink while trying to film in front of a light. And I actually spilled it before I started filming. Like all of it. I didn't even get a sip in and it all spilled. So maybe by sharing my awkwardness and my moments of reality, you'll know that I am real. And I guess I just want to remember that this time wasn't always perfect. There is just a lot of waiting, and it's perfect looking back on a lot of things, but there's a lot of worry and a lot of boredom and a lot of just waiting for the next thing. And I think it's important to me to remember this and to try to grasp, just to try to capture what is happening. It's going to be different parts that mean more to me, of maybe not so much the timeline, but the discipline or the patience or the strength or the time with my husband, just the beauty and the nature of how I can't control what's going to happen, and it's okay that I can trust that there's going to be beauty in this, and there's going to be struggle, but strength and perseverance come through that. And yeah, it's real. I want to be able to remember it in a real way, and this gets me closer to that. I know these videos are short and they do not capture what it was actually like, but I think there's just glimmers of ways to see this time frame, and I'm really glad that we are able to capture it this way. It's such a blessing to be able to have just like a video of your life over the years and be able to actually see the change. I think so much we don't see, and just to be able to have a little bit more that we can see and admire ourselves for a second, and not in a ego-filling way, but more so just in appreciating that you and your support got you to that stage, because it really does add gratitude and a thankful heart. And that is kind of what this next season is about, is just being thankful right here, right now, and in the realness of life and in the realness of this TTC journey, that I can be thankful for this, and there's something you can be thankful for too. So I really appreciate you watching and listening to my rambles. This is what has been happening in my pocket of the world, and it's awesome, it's scary, it's new, it is here. We're actually here. Can you believe it? I wish Mandy 5 years ago, I wish Mandy 5 months ago could see where things are now, and I hope in 5 months I've got some different news, and we'll just see. I think there are some really discouraging moments of negative after negative, and even just taking one more test, just hoping for positive, but getting a negative again. That happens so early. It doesn't take a year to feel discouragement about negatives. I don't know what it's like when you've had that many negatives over a year, or even much longer, and I don't know what it's like to get a positive right away. And so it's it's wild. It's totally unique to everybody, and you just face it. You keep your hope alive, and you borrow hope when yours is dwindling or feeling like it's gone. You borrow it from people, and there are just some really low moments at times. It happens because this is a roller coaster of a ride. It's complicated however you bring a little baby into the world. I don't think I'll ever be able to look at this season of life and go, oh yeah, it's just so simple for people. I think that's the cool thing about growing up, is you get to have more grace for people, and things aren't so black and white of mistakes that they make, and maybe in some ways you get hardened again and things become black and white, but then I'm hoping that I keep being open and can just be shaped and continue to see people through eyes of grace, because I know that's what I need. So, alright, enough for now. Check back here for my next video, but that's a wrap on this one. Bye.